Democrats are so in the dumps that people barely notice Kamala Harris and Doug sitting in the cheap seats in the back of an LA Lakers game. A perfect photo illustration of how irrelevant her party has become. John Fetterman wants his party to rise again, and he's giving Democrats the cold, hard truth on why they lost.
I think their primary currency was shaming and scolding and talking down to people and telling them, hey, I know better than you, or you're dopes, or you're a bro, or you're ignorant, or, don't you, how can you be this dumb? I can't imagine it. And then, by the way, they're fascist. How can you vote for that if you go to an extreme and you become a boutique kind of a proposition? Then you're going to lose the argument, and then we have done that.
All right, Jessica, I may be assuming wrongs, but I shouldn't assume. Is he right? And what is the Democrat Party going to do about it?
Well, anyone who's winning in this environment is right. There's no way to say otherwise. Fetterman won a competitive race, was able to do it. I know he wasn't up right in 2024, but yeah, he's right. And he's certainly right for Pennsylvania, who seem very happy with him. And he has very high approval rating. And I think that people should really, safe seat Dems need to take a step back because they are living in a completely different world than those who actually have to compete for their races. Pat Ryan, who's a swing seat Dem, I should say, in New York, said a very similar thing in an interview around election time, where he said, I basically had to run away from the party grant. Everyone knew I was a Democrat, but I was not talking about myself as part of the national delegation. And I think that there's really a big problem with the amount of policy positions that we have to explain at length. It should be really simple. I'm not saying it has to all be like a branding exercise, but Prop 36 was such a good example of that, and building off of Dana's sister example. My sister, who lives in Los Angeles, and she pays attention to politics, but she was like, oh, I'm so excited about Prop 36 and Nathan Hoffman, we're gonna get a new DA. And I was like, she goes, this Gascon has gotta go. And those are not the conversations that I'm having with my sister typically. And those kinds of issues permeated, and no Dem was explaining why they were against Prop 36. You could have talked about the private prison system and things like that till you're blue in the face, but it was a 70-30 issue in a very liberal state.
You know, Jesse, there's a New York Times Ipsos poll that showed that something like 79% of voters want men out of women's sports, okay? And yet none of the Democrats that I'm familiar with have out as a result of what President Trump and said this is a good thing. And in fact, even this week we saw the DNC stumbling over their own gender rules still. Are they just stuck in reverse?
The trans lobby is very powerful.
Is that what it is?
The trans lobby is scary. To them, not to anybody else, but to them. They are also only in control of about 20 cities in the country. That's the Democrat power base, about 20 cities. Have you seen the cities? Yeah. Look at them. It's disgusting. They can't manage it. And they're these little urban coastal bubbles, and they never leave the city. Even when they go on vacation, they just go to Miami. So they think they're in the majority. And then they also think they speak for everybody. They think they speak for the blacks, the gays, the Hispanics, the union workers. And basically on November 5th, the country was like, you don't speak for me. Fetterman, besides having a hoodie, Greg, has common sense. And it's the only guy I see on the Democratic side that has that.
All right, Dana, Kamala goes to a Lakers game. She's in row 58. Nobody notices. Nobody cares. What's her future?
Wouldn't that be great? If she, like for her, like if I were her, I'd say, this is great. I can just get back to this, and I don't have to pretend that I'm going to be governor of California or that I'm going to run for office again. Just like, go have a great life. You have a husband who loves you. Just go enjoy yourself. You have your health. I would do that. I'd go to all the games. One of the things that's incredibly satisfying is that I love a big I told you so moment, and where Fox News Channel is having one. You remember when Chris Harrison got canceled from The Bachelorette? Because he said that you should have grace for a contestant who went to an antebellum themed party. He got ran out of town.
Yeah.
And it was that kind of lunacy that just got spiraled out of control to the point where you had priests using water squirt guns in order to baptize people. And it's just, insane, and it got way out of control, and now you have all of these Democrats who are not in safe seats, who are trying desperately to try to distance themselves. I maintain that whoever is brave enough to throw the Biden administration, the big cover-up, under the bus is likely to be the person who comes out away.
Interesting.